Hello everybody, good evening and welcome back to the That's Football. You nearly caught me out. Welcome back to That's Football. We are live with our first watch-along of the season. It's Burnley against Brighton and we're ready to... It's not Burnley against Brighton. Oh, you know where I've been. Rhymes with rub, starts with a P. That's where I've been and I'm happy. But we're ready. We're back for the Premier League. Look, I quite like fancy Premier League. I've got my bloody card in my pocket. Don't want that there. I don't want that there. I'll be buying people drinks. We've got. If you're into fancy Premier League, I did a live stream this week, and people said, "Get John Stones," and I was like, "Oh yeah, I'll get John Stones." Not even on the bloody bench. Not even on the bench today. Let's get the team news up for you straight away. John Stones not even on the bench. Manchester City, as you can see, starting with. Edison, Kyle Walker, Akanji. I can't read that. I can't read that. I can't read that. I don't know. I can now. Aki and Lewis, De Bruyne, Rodri, Bernardo Silva, Alvarez, Foden, Haaland, Grealish on the bench, Kovacic on the bench, Vardiel on the bench, Phillips on the bench, but no John Stones on the bench. And then the new boys in town. And I knew he was going to do this. And bloody knew it. I knew that company was going to do this. And he has done it. He's given a debut to Trafford, who is the under-21s England goalkeeper who won the Euros for the under-21s, I think. He starts in goal for them, formerly of Manchester City. Trafford, Roberts, O'Shea, Al-Dakhil, Bayer, Collier, Berg, Sander, Cullen, De Silva, Amadini and Foster. It's a very different Brighton side with very different tactics, really. I think Man City are going to blow them away tonight, but we'll give it, they're going to give it a go. And that's what it's all about. And we're back. We're bloody back. Don't forget, if you've forgotten, the teams next to me, they update as we go along. So if someone comes off or someone gets booked, you'll see a yellow card. You'll see an arrow if they've come off. You'll see a goal on their shoulder if they score. Also, we have, of course, got the stats for you as well. Obviously, the game hasn't actually kicked off yet, but you've got possession stats, total shots, etc. So it's all kicking off on the right-hand side. This will update for you on this side as well. And we're about 7 minutes away from the start of the game. And yes, this has just got tea in it. Lovely tea. It's so good, this tea. Goldbridge's magic tea. Anyway, I hope you're doing well. Lots to talk about tonight as well. I mean, I think that thanks to everybody, by the way, following any of the Women's World Cup. If not, why? Don't you love someone who asks a question, doesn't wait for the answer, and basically just has the gun loaded already? I have been watching the Women's World Cup. My wife has it on in the kitchen every morning when I get up, and I tend to sit there and watch it for a bit. So you're wrong there, Pratt. You've been to pay, says Dance. If Pogba, Maguire, Anthony 100 million, then Casido is 110. Don't give us a lecture on Twitter. Scummy United fan. Believe in Klopp, Casido will be red. Karma, says Crown Anfield. Okay, you're having a bad Friday night. Haven't got much of a life, have you? Friday night, everyone else is in a good mood and you're moaning about fake stuff that doesn't even exist. Liverpool in the mud, says Ola. We will talk about Casido. Does anybody actually know what's going on with Casido? I don't know. I mean, I did a video this morning saying, wow, Liverpool. Then at lunchtime, I did a video, wow, Chelsea. And then now we don't know. Josh, who is a Liverpool fan, says, in the space of 24 hours, I've gone from pure joy to nearly crying thanks to Chelsea, says Josh. Well, we will talk about that. He's off to Chelsea is what we think is happening. Will you do a watch-along for Newcastle versus Villa? That has the potential to be the game of the week, says the HPN. So my watch-alongs this weekend, I can tell you now, is this, obviously, because I'm live. Tomorrow lunchtime, I'm doing Arsenal against Forest. I'm then doing the 3 o'clock games. I'm not doing the 5:30 game because I've got to do TalkSport call-in at 7:30 till 9 o'clock. So if I did that Villa Newcastle game, I'd literally be live from 12 o'clock till about 9 o'clock at night. Impossible. I've got to eat. But Chelsea Liverpool I'm doing on Sunday, obviously, and then Monday Night Football on the United Stand. So loads to get involved in. Can't wait. We'll be doing the 3 o'clocks tomorrow. Score prediction for Forest. Rice hat-trick, says Amy Assey. I think Forest will get stuffed tomorrow. I don't know why people are writing Arsenal off. It amazes me. Absolutely amazes me. Zach says that Lavia's off to Chelsea. I've not heard anything about that at all. Can I just draw people's attention to this? 991,000. When we're getting so close to 1 million subscribers on this channel, please do subscribe, bottom right hand corner, and share the video. Let's hit 1 million. It'd be great. It's been an amazing week for this community. First ever podcast. People have been on at me for years to do a podcast. Finally released it, straight into number 2 in the sports chart, into number 4 in the UK podcast charts. Goldbridge Saves Football. A lot of people said, why have you called it Goldbridge Saves Football? Because because thick people don't understand what it is. It's not narcissistic or anything like that. It's basically very interactive. So obviously, if you listen to the podcast this week, a couple of people mentioned a couple of things, and we try and discuss the big topics. And I think the big thing we're watching tonight is, and look, let him speak, Simon. Crunchy not cornflakes. Let him speak, Simon. I was listening to Talk Sport today with Jim White, Simon Jordan, Andros Townsend, and they're basically calling players moaners because of this extra time that's going to get added on at the end of each half. Well, I tell you what, this is something I'm going to bang a drum about this season. I'm telling you, there is no reason to be adding 5-10 minutes to the end of halves. Absolutely none. And if I see it tonight, I'm going to lose my shit. It's stupid, it's thick, it's naive, and it's uneducated. There is no reason to go beyond 2 or 3 minutes at a time at the end of each half. It just takes a couple of balls. That's all it takes. And I'm talking about testicles, because they are male referees, so I'm not being sexist. I mean, I'm all for women having refereeing in men's football, but it's not happened yet. If these referees got a set of balls, we wouldn't need to add 10 minutes on at the end. It's just letting the cowards prosper. I'm going to add 10 minutes on at the end. You don't need to do it. They could easily solve this problem. They just don't know what they're talking about. Casido is in no man's land at the moment, coming from a Liverpool fan, says Rachel. Looking smart, Mark. What is your score prediction for the game? If City lose, will you get your lad out? Excited for the game on Sunday, says Keenan. And I'm a few Brewdogs in. Finally, the football is back and we're buzzing, says Steve. Me too as well. Josh says you're talking rubbish. I've already told you how to solve this. Right? Let's pretend at the end of 90 minutes, the referee adds 10 minutes on. Everyone wants to go to bed. They're on a promise. They want to go and watch something they've recorded on Netflix. They've got a train to catch. They're going out to the pub with the lads. Nobody wants a game that's meant to finish at 10 o'clock to finish at 10:15. But, there's people time wasting. You know what you do? I'll give you a spoiler from the podcast. This is what I said, and this is what needs to happen. Simple as this. You don't need to add 10 minutes on at the end of each half. You don't. You book people for time wasting. You get a yellow card out really, really quickly. Really quickly. I'm talking first incident of time wasting, you get a yellow card out. Also, you have a stop clock when it goes out for a throw-in. Literally, we see it on the screen and the referee has it on their arm. 10 seconds to take the throw-in. You take any longer, you get booked. It will all stop really, really quickly. But thick people don't understand it. If there's a substitution, 30 seconds. You've got 30 seconds to do the sub. Get them ready. Manager has them ready. The player that's coming off to the other side, get the player on. None of this fucking messing around. If they're injured, take them off the pitch. We'll start again. You don't need to waste. We're here for a short time. We're not here for a long time. We're here for a good time. We don't need to add 10 minutes onto the end of every game. We just need to get tough on the problem. Because what people don't realise is, and people will be saying, no, I'd rather there was 10 minutes added on. No, stop clock for subs, stop clock for throw-ins. Someone's pissing about, give them a yellow card. Because you know what? They're not going to stop time. In the 10 minutes added on, they're still going to time waste. We'll be playing here all bloody night. It's the most logical thing in the world. Clip me up on that last bit. It's the most logical thing in the world to do, but nobody's clever enough to do it. It will solve time wasting in no time, and we'll be able to go back to what we want, which is 1 or 2 minutes added on at the end of a game. That's all we want. They're not solving the problem of time wasting. They're just adding time on where you can still time waste. It's thick, really thick. Anyway, the game's about to start off. Harry Kane's gone to Bayern Munich as well. We'll be talking about that. I'd love to get your thoughts on Oppenheimer. and Barbie as well. We can do non-football stuff as well. I'm all for that. I've got my timer ready. Don't worry about that one. Who's going to win this one? Man City probably win it 3-4. I'm going to hope that Burnley score. I think that's about as good as it gets. They're taking the knee again. I don't know why. If anyone knows what we're taking the knee for again, have I missed it? I thought they'd stopped all that. Not that it's not for a good cause, but I'm just, I'm literally wondering why we're starting to do it again. That's all I'm asking. I don't know why that's happening. I thought it had stopped, and now it's back again. I know it's for. N says it's for racism. Of course it's for. I know what it's for, but I'm just saying the Premier League had stopped doing it, and then now we've started it again. I don't. Look, I don't believe in this in football. You know where I stand on this. You've got England's football team going to Qatar saying that they're going to wear rainbow laces or a captain's armband, and then they said they don't want the yellow card, so we won't do it. I know why people take the knee. It's because of racism, but the Premier League had stopped doing it, and now they're doing it again. Haven't seen those movies, I'm afraid. Mark says enjoy writing. And Aaron says, as a Liverpool fan, I'm so happy for you, Mark, for this Channel United stand. Love your football opinions. Make my day. Thank you, Mark, says Aaron. Thank you, Aaron. And look, you know what? I've got to say, the game's kicked off. The timer's running here. All I can say is I'm really glad Man United are not in this Casido saga. I've not known anything like this. I've asked people a while about this. Let me just get rid of Sniper. There we go. Probably somebody else under a different name that we got rid of, but we'll get rid of you from here as well. Yeah, I mean, look, the Liverpool-Chelsea Casido thing is, I wouldn't want to be in it. I really wouldn't want to be in it at all. Because it's, you know, you're ecstatic this morning if you're a Liverpool fan, and then you're devastated, and you're devastated this morning as a Chelsea fan, and now you're happy. Yeah, I think he's going to Chelsea now, but I mean, I'm really, I said it on Twitter today, I'm really surprised at Liverpool, because when they go for a deal, they normally get it done. Brighton have stopped. Burnley, I've got to stop calling Burnley Brighton. Burnley have started off quite well here, and funnily enough, I think the reason I keep calling them Burnley is because I think Brighton is that I think they will have a good season. The scoreboard's not new. I don't know why people keep talking about the scoreboard being new. Everything's exactly the same as it was for the Champions League. Liverpool could be dangerous this season. Sir Alex, stand. You're getting blocked. I don't know what you're doing, but you're gone. Oh, it's 1-0. Man City, Erling Haaland, I've got him as captain already. Haaland strikes. It's that quick. That's all it takes. There we go. No messing around from Erling Haaland. It's a corner. They take it short. The cross comes in. It's De Bruyne. Back post. Erling Haaland, 1-0. It's so easy. It's so easy. Game over already. Well, we don't know about that. What does Deitch think about the new Burnley, says the HPN? We don't know. And Erling Haaland straight away. The assist comes in from Rodri from a header from the back post. And Haaland's there just to react really quickly. He'd be very disappointed as a defender there. Very disappointed as a defender for Burnley, because he's not running through one-on-one. He's literally attacked a ball in the penalty box quicker than the two centre-backs for Burnley. It's snooze, you lose defending. I've got him as my fantasy Premier League captain as well. Sasan, your prediction for Man United in the Champions League? Yeah, I've already said we'll win it. But no one... Well, Fisher's right. 3 centre-backs, no one's marking Haaland. It's top class penalty box strikership from Erling Haaland, but it's total shit from Burnley at the back there. Not good enough. Daniel says, I simulated a Premier League on FIFA and United won. Look, can I just say this? As excited as we are about the Premier League being back, did anybody not predict that Man City are going to win this? You can't start moaning about Man City being too good when everybody has predicted they're going to win it. Of course they're going to win it. Thanks for the super chats that are coming in. Claydon says, when Man United play Everton, are you putting on the Dyche voice, says Claydon. Here's De Bruyne again. They've got loads of space. De Bruyne shoots from a long way out, just over the bar. It's dominant from Man City at the moment. Kicking it with Cade says, I've actually triple captained Haaland. Yeah, I've got him as captain in mind. Just Keevan 2 says, I'm tired of the robot. The problem with the robot is that he's... Oh, I see what you mean. It's the timer. I need to move that timer a little bit. Okay. I'll sort this out. The trouble is, if I go with that timer, they're not that far out, are they? Shall I just go with that timer? It's literally 3 seconds. Oh, fuck it. Let's just do that. It's a lot tidier. We'll do that. Yeah, it's... The thing about that Haaland goal is it's just not that bad. It's not even brilliant. It's just bad defending and good strikership. Oh, Burnley looking for a penalty, and you've got no chance with this Pratt. Not a chance. What's his name? Roger Daltrey? No. Ollie Mers? No. What's his name? Pawson. Look at him. He puts pads around his shoulders to make himself look big. Oh, that's a penalty. That's a penalty, man. That's a stone wall. Look at him. He kicks him. Watch. All right, it's a dive. It's a dive. I thought from one angle, I thought he kicked him, but no. The second angle, they got it right. Pawson's the only referee who seems to wear shoulder pads like it's the 80s. I'm sure he's putting cotton wool and everything under his top. A lot of people said it should have been a penalty. I don't think it was, actually. What's the FPL league pin? Don't know. I will find it out for you. Burnley can't defend, says HS. Come on, Burnley. That's a penalty. It's way outside the box. Kyle Walker, you bloody pace merchant. You're just Dan James at right back. We're back. You talk like a pro, Mark. Don't even play 30 seconds in that TalkSport game. There must be a reason. What's this? You talk like a pro, Mark. Didn't even play 30 seconds in that TalkSport game. There must be a reason. I played 4 minutes, mate. Stuart Bates says, looking smart, Mark. What's your score prediction for the game? If City will lose, you get... Oh, I can't read that. I love this community, but you do get a few sad little twats on a Friday night, don't you? Go out. Some people say go out and touch grass. I would say go out, get some friends and socialise. Instead of being bitter. I mean, people are staying in to watch this because they're enjoying it. Great. But I don't understand people who just, have such sad lives that they come on to be toxic. It's sad, really. How you doing tonight, Mark? Says Ibrahima. I'm doing very, very well. I'm really excited to have Premier League football back. Connor, welcome to the Members Club. Thank you very much. I do like the colour scheme in this channel, says Paul. I do. We used it on the... I don't know whether you've seen the visual clips from the podcast that went in at number 4 in the UK. Goldbridge Saves Football. I'm just doing it to wind up the little bitter twat who was talking before. But number 4 in the UK went in straight in at number 4 as an independent podcast. Now, if I could tell you about podcasts, like if you think about Lineker's podcast or Gary Neville's or most podcasts, they're all run by big production companies with massive PR budgets. So new podcasts coming out, they put sponsorships, everything. Totally independent podcast, straight in at number 4. But no, seriously, what I liked about that is we used the studio in Manchester, but we used the That's Football colours. I love the That's Football colours. They're just really, they pop really well. I mean, obviously you can't use them for United Stand because it's got to be red, but That's Football, we can just use it. When you're big, says Just Kevin. You're right. What's the FPL code? Haaland scored, says Gaza. I'm going to get you our FPL code because a few people have asked for it. And oh, it is. Okay. Life is full of surprises. Points. That's Football Premier League. Invite people to join. So it's CC Charlie Yankee Oscar 8 Lima, which is CCYO8L. Charlie Yankee Oscar 8L. There we go. Someone's just put it in the chat. CCYO8L, not 0. CCYO8L. Life is full of surprises. I'm Ronnie Pickering. I tell you what, that was a bloody good cross. And it's De Bruyne again. This from the left side. Jamie Carragher's so annoying, says Daniel. I'll tell you what I find funny about Man City, and Man City fans are not going to like this. It's the amount of players that want to leave your club. I'm definitely going to get clipped up here, but it's true. And I'll say what's true. At Man City, as good as they are, and they've just won the treble, and they've won 3 Premier Leagues in a row, and I think they'll win 4 in a row, and I think Pep's one of the best managers in the world, and I think the club is run really, really well. But so many of their players are always looking to leave. I mean, Gundogan was their best player. He's not 90, wants to go. Bernardo Silva has wanted to go for years. Kyle Walker wants to go. Like, people want to leave Man City. And I don't really understand what it's... Mahrez, I'll go to Saudi Arabia. I just don't think that volume of players would leave Liverpool, Man United, Arsenal. But at Man City, they do seem to want to get out. It's like, I'll come here, I'll earn some good money, but I reckon I know what it's all about. They just don't have a... They haven't bought a soul yet, have they? They've got fans, but they haven't got that soul. Haaland will go, 100%. Oh, spot on. Dougie's right. Haaland's gone. 3 years max, he's gone. Ain't no way Haaland is like, I'm here because I love it. I'm here for 10 years. Haaland's gone in 2 more years, definitely. I'll put a bet on that, 100%. There's just something about Man City that's just transient. It's a transient club. You go there to win things and earn money, but you don't go there to retire. You don't. Look, it's an opinion. Great to have the Premier League back. Keep up the good work. Where's Weghorst? Says Manu. Where is Weghorst? It's a bit like where's Wally? I think he's left, hasn't he? I don't know where he's gone. I don't like this Burnley side. All this pass and move vibe. Oh, we want to play proper football. Get your potato cakes out. Put it in a bap. Potato cakes in a bap. Long ball. I'm Sean Dyche. Where's Dwight McNeil? Where's Harvey Barnes? Not Harvey Barnes. Not John Barnes. You know what I mean. They had a player called Barnes up front. Where's Chris Wood? Where's Tarkowski? This ain't Burnley. What's this all about? Get Company out and get Dyche back. Ashley Barnes, that was it. Life is... Showtime says they leave because they've won it all, you fool. Yeah, that's exactly what happened with Ryan Giggs and Paul Scholes. They left. They won a couple of Premier Leagues and they thought, I've won everything, I'll go now. No, that's not what it's all about. Lovely ball. Come on, Burnley. Cross it back. Ah, come on. He's shot over the bar. He shoots over the bar. 17,000 people watching. You're legends. Please do subscribe. Bottom right hand corner. We're on the road to 1 million. I tell you what, if this channel hits 1 million, it will be a bigger achievement than the United stand. Because there's no logic. It's just a channel for everybody to talk about everything. And there's lots of people trying to do it. I could name about 20 people who've sort of copied the That's Football route. Fair play to them. You know, it's what's that word? What's that word I know? Copying flattery. I can't remember what it is, but no one's anywhere near 1 million. It'd be amazing to hit 1 million. So subscribe, bottom right hand corner, and get involved with the movement. The Moomins? Who remembers the Moomins? The 80s. Erasure. Mooncat. When a Snickers was called a marathon. Imitation is sincerest form of flattery. That was it, Luke. Oh, that's just reminded me something. I'll tell you what, I'm just going to give you... The Premier League is starting. Man City are winning 1-0. But, so, you know, our season's starting on That's Football. And we will give you some clips and topics, as always, to ponder on. And I have got this to say. Well, I did have something to say. Here we go. No, that's not what I wanted to say. No, not that. No, not that. I feel I have to say this. Nice ball into Haaland. Is given a foul. Pawson's a Man City fan. You know, I've lost my chat. I've lost the live chat. It's completely frozen on me. 1 minute. It'll come back. Why does it do it? Why now? Why do it now? I'm driving blind here. Don't do that. I've actually got no idea of what my YouTube chat is. Oh, come on. Google Chrome, you've let yourself down massively here. I can't see my live chat. Unbelievable. Don't you just hate that when it happens? You've got a few browsers open, you go on one, and then it's just stuck on that one and won't move. You're having a bloody laugh, mate. Here we go. We're back now. What big 6 team would Luton pull an upset on, says Daniel. Good save by Trafford. I'd love Luton to do well. But let's be honest, they're not going to. Burnley have been industrious with no cutting edge. And that's the difference at this level, isn't it? You can play the game the right way. But if you haven't got the quality... Oh, you should have slipped him in. Oh, he should have slipped him in there. He went for a shot, the Burnley player. Mark, I think you're underestimating Spurs. I think they have a better team overall than Villa and Brighton. Mario, you're having a bloody laugh. They've just sold Harry Kane. I played the game. First one of the season, Mitchell. So basically, I want to say this. Just mentioning Harry Kane there. And mentioning Snickers. Who would have thought Harry Kane and Snickers would be a topic of conversation? But bear with me on this. You're about to learn something. All we've heard for the last couple of years as Harry Kane enters the final years of his contracts at Tottenham is, will he leave Tottenham to go abroad and miss out on the chance of breaking Alan Shearer's all-time Premier League goal-scoring record? And I've had a moment today where I woke up because I was like, but I remember the Premier League when it was called Division 1. It's just a rebrand. Snickers, the chocolate with caramel and nuts in it, used to be called Marathon. I preferred the name Marathon. It was the same thing with a different wrapper. Man United's shirt that's got TeamViewer on it used to have Chevrolet on it. It's still a Man United shirt. The Premier League is still Division 1. It's the number one league in England. Just because they rebadged it, it's still the top league in England. Nothing's different. It's still the best 20 or 18 or 22 teams in England. So Division 1, football didn't start in 1992. It's been going on for over 100 years. The Division 1 is the Premier League. So why does Alan Shearer get classed as the all-time scorer? Because he scored in the Premier League. Like, are we completely disrespectful? Do Liverpool's European Cups not count before 92? Do Liverpool's Premier League Division 1 titles not count before 1992? You know, does the Huddersfield's titles not count? It's ridiculous. My point is, Emil, and I'm getting to my point. My point is, Jimmy Greaves scored 357 goals in 516 games. Alan Shearer scored 283 goals in 559 games. So Shearer scored less goals in more games than Jimmy Greaves. And Jimmy Greaves played in the top division in England. Dixie Dean, 310 goals. Gordon Hodgson, 287 goals. Alan Shearer is actually fourth on the all-time goal-scoring list. But we live in a world now where nobody talks about Jimmy Greaves or Dixie Dean because we've suddenly decided that football only existed when the Premier League was invested. But it's the same. It's just a rebadge. It's just a new spot. It's a sponsor. It's just a renaming of the top league in England. Why are we falling for this shit? And I was down the pub talking about this, and everybody agreed with me. I mean, I could have had about 20 pints because everybody was like, he makes a good point. And I was like, hold on a minute. Don't pat me on the back. Don't get me another drink. I've got to go live in a minute. But my point was, I've only just realised it as well. This is how dangerous media can be. Oh, can Kane break Shearer's record? Who gives a shit about Shearer's record? So we're gonna forget nearly 100 years of the top division's history because football only started in 1992. Oh, but he's the Premier League top scorer record. So we're just going to bin off Liverpool and Man United and Arsenal's other titles. It's the biggest load of shit I've ever heard, and we need to call it out. This whole Alan Shearer, Harry Kane thing is a load of shite. The Premier League is just Division 1 with a different name. Jimmy Greaves is the top scorer of all time, and he's dead. Why is he, why is that not mentioned? Oh, because that was the olden days. Oh, so George Best doesn't matter anymore. Kenny Dalglish doesn't matter anymore. Football only exists in this country from 1992. And what's the Premier League? It's just a mercenary money rebadging of football. Fuck it. No, I'm not. I think it's a joke. Call it out. Anyway, Alex, the reason I'm talking about that is because the game has stopped for some reason. So we'll probably be playing till about 11 o'clock tonight. Because not only are we going to get... Oh, I think De Bruyne is coming off. Change the system. Chelsea are signing Lavia as well now. Going to unveil both of them against Liverpool, says Alex. Unbelievable. Where did Chelsea do this? I don't know. If Burnley had a finisher, they'd be a real threat this year, says the HPN. I agree with that. De Bruyne is coming off. Hi, Mark. Do you think there's a possibility that the Premier League will turn into the Bundesliga in terms of one team running away with it? City have won it 5 times in the last 6 years, says Joe. Well, you can't criticise Bayern and the Bundesliga and then not do it in relation to them. I'm glad that a lot of people agree with me on the Jimmy Greaves, Alan Shearer thing. You know, I just think it's one of the most illogical things I've ever heard. That Kane's going to break Shearer's record. You're just a commercial twat. If you think that that's the record, you're a commercialised twat. So the Premier League's all that matters now. It's the same bloody league. It's basically marathon that's been turned to Snickers. What's going on with Concedo, says Daniel. What's happened to... what happened with De Bruyne? Did he get injured or has he got concussion? A lot of people talking about it. People forget players like Jimmy Greaves and George Best existed. It's disgusting, Josh. It's absolutely disgusting. Can't count England's World Cup now. It happened before 1992. Exactly, Game Central. Exactly. Joe made a good point. Do you think that the Premier League's going to become the Bundesliga? Nathan says it's it looked like a knock on the knee. Well, I bet there's a lot. The only reason I mention it is because, one, we're watching the game, but two, I bet there's a lot of people who've got De Bruyne in their fancy Premier League. I would never go for De Bruyne. All I'm going to say is we're already starting a movement. Goldbridge saves football. That's going to be something we're going to look at. But we're starting a movement here. We will not be indoctrinated by commercialisation of football. The Premier League is literally Division 1. It's the same thing. So why does Shearer... And you know what? Shearer embraces it like he's special. Oh, I'm the top scorer of all time. I'd be embarrassed. I'd have actually put a statement out and said, but I'm not the top scorer of all time. Because the Premier League is the same as Division 1 and Jimmy Greaves is the top scorer of all time. But he embraces it. He's like, oh, it's my record. It's my record. Premier League's all-time top goal scorer. It's like, you know what it's like? It's like being the Champions League top scorer of all time. So we're ignoring the European Cup before the Champions League? No. No, we're not. Good game, this. Shame that Man City scored so early, but Burnley, I think if they hadn't conceded that goal, they've given a good account of themselves. De Bruyne is turning into Pogba before our eyes, says Walk. Thank you very much for the super chats, by the way. 18,000 watching. Thank you very much. Trooper, you've just been blocked. I don't know why anyone would want to watch that shit. Arsenal, watch along. Yes, tomorrow lunchtime, I will be watching Arsenal. I fully expect them to be... Here's a prediction for you tomorrow. Here's a hot take. Arsenal 2-0 up in the first half an hour. There's a hot take for you. You're absolutely right, Mark. We sing 20 times, counting all our titles before the Premier League. Mic drop. Jermaine, I don't even blame people who don't get this. I only woke up today. You know what? I feel really disappointed in myself when, I get manipulated by the media. And I have been manipulated by the media on that. This whole Shearer top scorer thing's bollocks. It's absolute bollocks. And I've been guilty of it as much as anybody. But I woke up today. It doesn't mean anything because he's Premier League top scorer. You're in! You're in! Oh, he's got him. Rodri. Oh, he was in one-on-one and Rodri got back. I tell you what, Burnley could get back into this. They could do it. Liverpool signed Casido, thought, says Daniel. Well, they didn't. United should bid 120 million for Casido over Amrabat, says Chris. I do want to just talk about that. Man City got the ball at the back at the moment. I put this tweet out today, and I don't know whether anybody agrees with me. Where do you rank Lavia, Casido, Enzo in the Premier League, says Abdullah? Look, I think Casido is a fantastic player, but my point was going to be, and I think it needs to be said, I like Casido. I would welcome him at Man United. Arsenal fans would welcome him at Arsenal. Of course they would. Lovely play by Burnley. Down the left-hand side. He cuts back inside. Oh, he went for the shot instead of the cross. I think this needs calling out because, again, we sort of get indoctrinated by the commercialisation of football. And can I just say, it's absolutely ridiculous. I feel like bringing Gary Barlow in. It's absolutely incredible, Mark. It's absolutely stupid. 110 million for Casido. Unbelievable. He's a defensive midfielder. He was playing at right back for Brighton at the end of last season. 110 million. It's ridiculous. He's a good player. He is a good player. And Arsenal wanted him. Chelsea want him. Liverpool want him. Bayern wanted him. He's a good player. He's a very good player. But 110 million. Absolutely unbelievable. Unbelievable. But Man United paid £80 million for Harry Maguire. Mic drop. You can't blame the player. It's just ridiculous. It is ridiculous. And look, Declan Rice isn't worth £100 million either. But what people don't do is they don't they blame it on the player, and it's not the player's fault. Casido and Rice are really good players. I'd love them at Man United, but the price, I can't believe somebody's paid 110 million for a defensive midfielder. It's amazing, and it's scary. It's scary where football goes next, because what people don't realise is if Evan Ferguson has a good year at Brighton and Chelsea or Man United go in for him next summer, Brighton are going to start the bidding off at 150. Quite rightly, they'll go, well, we got 110 for Casido and he didn't score 20 goals. It's terrifying. It's really, really terrifying. But look, ultimately Liverpool and Chelsea bid it. Are you going to do Villa Newcastle tomorrow? I'm not. I'm doing Forest and Arsenal at lunchtime. I'm doing the 3 o'clocks. I can't normally do the 5:30 games because I do, the Mark Goldbridge show is back on Talk Sport tomorrow, the call-in. So I'm looking forward to that. TJ says that the number 30 is giving Man City problems. Collier Show is his name. He has had a good game. I don't know a lot about these Burnley players, but they've played well. They have played well. Look at it statistically. Man City have had 70% possession, but they've been wise with their possession. Fabrizio said that Liverpool are walking away from Casido. Unfortunately, Liverpool fans, do you agree with that? Do you think that's true? You walked away from Bellingham because he was too expensive, and then you offered more for Casido, and now you're walking away. I personally think sometimes you've just got to put your hand up and say you lost. And I'm very surprised at Liverpool. They are so efficient and quick at deals. But where I think Liverpool got it wrong and where I think Chelsea got it right is that Chelsea have been working on this deal all summer. And I think Casido felt that that's where he wanted to go. And I think Liverpool came in at the last minute and nearly pulled off a major coup. But what they didn't do is they didn't get the player. They went to Brighton and went, we'll give you more than Chelsea. And when Brighton went, yes. But they clearly didn't get the player on board, because you should always agree personal terms before you put a bid in. Now, I can't believe that Liverpool haven't done that. But I don't know. But if this was a United, if you swap United for Liverpool, I would be like, surely we've agreed personal terms before we've gone and done a bid. And if we have, then Casido is a shithouse, because he's said yes and then he said no. And I think the truth will come out, but I can't imagine that Liverpool didn't agree with Casido. If we bid, will you come to Liverpool? It looks like he's just changed his mind, but I don't know. If Liverpool was going to pay 110 for Casido, they should have just added 20 more and get Bellingham, says Milverton. I don't think Bellingham wanted to go to Liverpool when they weren't in the Champions League. Lewis Walsh says apparently they did agree personal terms. Well, in which case, Casido's a bit of a shit, isn't he? I mean, Chelsea will worship him because he's chosen them, and that's fine. But he's a bit of a shit if he's done that, really. But at the end of the day, not that I care. What if Liverpool now go for Amrabat? Well, it's been in the back of my head for a while. Man City on the attack here. Kyle Walker. You feel if they get the second goal, it will be game over. Zesty says, if I was a Liverpool fan, I'd be pissed off. I think the big reason for Liverpool fans to be pissed off is, well, one, you've missed out on a good player. I called it transformative this morning, and I meant it. But secondly, they've got a big hole in their midfield. They're like a bloody bagel. They've got no holding midfielder. Klopp said it himself. Here's Foden. Does well, but the keeper does well as well. Klopp said it today. They've been forced into the market because of lovely play between Foden and Kovacic there. They've been forced into the market because Henderson and Fabinho have left, and he didn't expect them to go. So he's admitted in a press conference this morning, Klopp, that he didn't expect Henderson and Fabinho to go. So they've had to go into the market. Well, they've now not got the player. So by his own admission, Klopp is basically saying they're screwed. Imagine if Liverpool go for McTominay. They're not that desperate, Ed. And Brighton are going to find that all their signings start insisting on release clauses. This is what is apparently holding up the Kudos deal. Well, he's absolutely right, Alan. He's absolutely right. I wouldn't go to Brighton without a release clause. Because you end up with a golden handshake, don't you? You can't get out in a golden cage. Are you going to watch the Luton Town game? I am. The featured game tomorrow afternoon is going to be Brighton-Luton. Lovely cut back there. Alvarez into Haaland. Oh, he's too fucking good. He's too good. Oh my God. He is too good. That's not even a sniff. That's not even a sniff. That finish is ridiculous. He hasn't even got a sniff of that. It's just complete instinct. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. I cannot tell you how instinctive that is. It's ridiculous. He's the best striker in the world. He's the best penalty box striker in the world. This is ridiculous. It's almost like hitting the bullseye blind. The build-up play by Man City is pretty good. But look at Haaland here. Oh my God. I mean, again, Burnley's defence is not tight enough. But it's just so quick. He doesn't hardly look. That is just pure. In off the bar as well. That is just absolute top class finishing. Best penalty box striker in the world. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And I hate to see it. Best penalty box striker in the world. Incredible. Incredible. And you know what? You might have watched the football fill-in this week with me, Watto and Ben Foster. And I was asked how many goals Haaland will score this year. I think he got 36 last year. And Fozzie was saying, I don't think he'll get 30 this year. I think he can do it again. You know. I think it's unbelievable. His finishes today have just been one-touch finishes. You know, some strikers take a touch, have a look, bottom corner, and you go, brilliant. Literally, both these goals have just been one-touch finishes. Oh, he's unbelievable. He's not the next Messi. He's not Messi. He's just a pure penalty box striker. It's unbelievable. I don't want him to be like that, but you know what? I'm not bitter and I'm not petty. You've got to appreciate class, and he's absolutely incredible. And what did I say? 3, 4, 1. That's not a foul either, ref. Come on. He's incredible. Nearly 20,000 watching. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Please do subscribe, by the way. Top right-hand corner, as you can see, we're very, very close contextually to a million subscribers, which would be incredible. So click that button, bottom right-hand corner. We're only 300 away from 992,000. So bottom right-hand corner to subscribe. Get involved with That's Football. Loads of watch-alongs for you this weekend. Big game of the weekend's really Liverpool-Chelsea on Sunday, isn't it? But we're doing Arsenal against Forest tomorrow. Haaland on a hat-trick already. How many of those is he going to get this season? Darren says hat-trick for sure tonight. Yeah, it's looking that way, mate. It is. That second goal is just, it's got me praising. Paul Greaves says, no, not Paul Greaves. Sean Gerrity says, it's bitter to call him a penalty box striker. Sean, grow up. What are you talking about? Do you know how big the penalty box is? What's wrong with being a penalty box striker? I don't get that. Sean, did you fail geography? What lives in the penalty box? The goal. What wins game? What wins games? Goals. I'd bloody love to be I'd tell you what, I'd bloody love to be the best penalty box striker in the world. Penalty box is bloody big. We're not talking about the 6-yard box. We're not talking about Goalhanger FC. Penalty box FC, best penalty box striker in the world. Fucking hell, I think I'd take that. You're probably going to go down as one of the best players in the world. You've had a nightmare there, Sean. What do you want Haaland to do? Track him back? Scoring from 40 yards? Come on. And, I think most of his goals are in the penalty box as well. Like D says, calling him the best penalty box striker is a compliment. If you take it otherwise, you are the one who needs perspective, mate. Anything can be twisted these days. Remember when Casido posted a goodbye Brighton letter on Instagram after Arsenal bid in January? People forget because the move fell through, but he's a confirmed shithouse. Alex, that's the best comment of the night. Thanks for the super chat. You're right. I think Casido does come across as a bit of a shithouse, if I'm being honest. He was a Man United fan. Not long ago. Then he was a Real Madrid fan. Trust me, you could write a book on him. He changes his opinion like the weather. He was a Man United fan, and Man United was his big dream move. Then it was, I'm sure he said Real Madrid. Then it was Arsenal. Then it was Chelsea. Then it was Liverpool. Then it was Chelsea again. He is the modern footballer. He's a bloody good footballer. He's a very good footballer. But yeah, he does change his mind a lot. I'm loving the way the lighting up the Champions League ball. I think I need to get some new balls. I was at Fozzie. I call him Fozzie. I was at Ben Foster's studio on Monday, and he gets all the new kits. Like, he'll wear anything. He'll wear a dress if you pay him enough, and he's getting a load of new balls in and stuff. The first season Messi and Ronaldo out of Europe, Haaland is up for it, says Paul Not Nice. I forgot about that. Good point, Paul. Wouldn't just man marking Haaland make sense? Just put one guy to follow him and that's it. You know what, Zach? It's a long time since I've played football, and all I'd say is that the mind is definitely still willing, but the body ain't giving. But even if I go back, I think my best season was probably when I was about 17, and Erling Haaland would be a bloody not. I used to play centre back sometimes as well. And the worst striker I hated playing against was pure pace. And then the worst striker of all was pure pace and bigger than you. I mean, what are you supposed to do with a striker like that? They're quicker than you and they're stronger than you and they can finish. He's a difficult player to do. He's really difficult. And I think only the top centre-backs can deal with him. I think when you go below the top 6, that's where Haaland bags. And I'm not saying he won't score against the top 6, but he's ridiculous. Against the lesser centre back, he'll do what he's done here, and Burnley. I think Burnley will have a good season, but he's made those centre backs look sleepy tonight. What do you think about Alvarez to replace Rice at West Ham? Says Alexi. Look, I don't want to jinx West Ham. I thought Skamaka last season was a really good signing, and I think you have to be very careful about players that you admire in the European game that come to the Premier League, because the Premier League is very different. Alvarez from Ajax looks very interesting. Dawood at Brighton looks very interesting. But how they adapt to the Premier League, I don't know. But they do look good. We'll have to wait and see. I think West Ham will have a better season than last year. How many goals do you think Rasmus Hojlund will score for England, Man United this season? Says Jay. Look, all I want with Rasmus is I just don't want him to be compared to Haaland. I think it's childish, it's silly, it's not necessary. There's probably not a massive amount of difference in the age profile of Rasmus Hojlund and Erling Haaland, but there's a major difference in the development and career path. I really like Rasmus Hojlund, and I think he'll be he's a very different player to Erling Haaland. I mean, at the end of the day, Erling Haaland is, as I say, the best, in my opinion, penalty box striker in the world. I think with Rasmus Højlund, there's a lot of things that he's done at Atalanta, like other Atalanta strikers, which is about hard work. It's about running the channels. It's about holding the ball up. And that's not really what Erling Haaland does. If you put Erling Haaland in a Man United shirt, I don't think he'd be very good, because we don't play that style of football that we play for a striker. So I think it'd be very, very different, if I'm being honest. 5 minutes added on at the end of the first half. Fucking joke. 5 minutes at the end of the first half. And so it begins. 5 minutes at the end of the first half. Just fucking ridiculous. I will be moaning about this a lot. The same as I moaned about VAR. Foden, this could be 3. No, keeper's done well. Foden wants a penalty. Shut up, Foden. Made a meal and threw it up on Monday. Well, I just want to say it's great to have football back, and thanks everyone who's tuning in, all 20,000 of you, or thereabouts. Make sure you subscribe, bottom right hand corner, and get involved. Legend in the chat, Michael Arthur's just given a £50 super chat. You're an absolute legend, Michael. You didn't even leave a comment, so I will leave a comment for you. Michael Arthur basically says that make sure you listen to Goldbridge Saves Football podcast. It's really good. Available on all podcast networks. You'll really enjoy it. How many goals? You know, I've got to admit, I'm really sad, actually. I drove up to Manchester on Tuesday and we recorded the podcast. And on my way back, I downloaded it on Spotify and listened to it. And I was laughing at myself. I mean, Will's on it as well, but I was actually enjoying it like I was listening to something else. How many goals do you think Garnacho will score this season, Mark? Says Kyle. I'm no good on that sort of thing. No good on that sort of thing. Should we do a poll? I feel like I've got a few polls for you, actually. I'm trying to think of stuff that I've got a few things that we're going to do. Okay, here we go. I've got a few polls for you. These are really good at the start of the season. So either or. No, not either or. Who will finish higher this season? I'm going to do some of these. Let's do some of these. I'm looking forward to this. Who will finish higher? I'm going to start off with an easy one. Well, not an easy one. An obvious one. So who finishes higher this season? Newcastle or Aston Villa? Me and Will spoke about this on the podcast, so if you've listened, you'll know which way I went. But you can have your say on that. Luke Jones has given us 20 quid, super chat. He says, sorry if it brings the mood down, but I had to say on the Mason Greenwood situation, I think it's an absolute farce. I'm not a United fan, but you were right earlier. They keep kicking the can down the road. Very weak, indecisive leadership from all involved. Luke, I don't mind talking about the Mason Greenwood situation. I think it'll be harder to talk about it on here because it's not a United fan channel, and I know that rivals are really strong on this. I've been speaking about it on the United stand for quite a while, and I tweeted a couple of weeks ago that they should loan him out for a year, and I got called a rapist sympathiser and all sorts. And it surprised me. But then I realised we've been talking about it on the United stand for so long, I'd probably never tweeted it. My personal stance is I don't want him to play for Man United. From a business point of view, I think they should loan him out, because if they want to get some money for him, I wouldn't kick him out the club. Just loan him abroad for a year and then you might get some money. But as a Manchester United fan, I don't want him to play. And I respect the people who do. That's their opinion. You know, some people think that, you know, everyone's got different opinions. But I don't want him to play for Man United. I'm not comfortable with it. And that's just my stance. I get the feeling United were going to announce he was coming back, and they've now delayed it because they've thought, shit, we've misread the room. And that's terrifying. That's terrifying that they potentially thought they could bring him back, and then they've realised there'll be a load of shit. I mean, what planet do they live on? I find it incredible that they think they can just bring him back and nothing's going to happen. I mean, the United fan base is divided on it. Imagine an away game at Liverpool. What's going to happen? I mean, it's almost like United don't realise that the audio's probably still out there. The pictures are still out there. It's not an easy problem to surmount. And that doesn't mean guilt or not guilt. What I'm talking about is that... And the fact that they keep kicking it down the road as well. The big thing I've always said about Mason Greenwood is... It's half-time, by the way. The big thing I've always said about Mason Greenwood is that if he was a bang average youth player, they'd have booted him out ages ago. Tell me I'm wrong. If he was bang average, they'd have got rid of him. It's only because he's decent that they're trying to find him a way back. Well, where's the morality in that? You're making a business decision. If he wasn't very good at football, you'd have got rid of him. So you're trying to find a way to keep him because he's good at football. Well, where's the morals in that? There isn't any, is there? Mark, please learn the song featuring Benny McCarthy. They sampled the final countdown by Europe, says Studio. Sounds good. I just watched some old videos from the Zlatan and Mourinho era. When Zlatan got banned for the arm bow, you said he shouldn't get blamed for letting. Bjorn? I don't know what that's got to do with anything. Thank you, Luke. Anyway, you created a good point there. Andrew says you would never have a chance to change. Well, mate, I think that people are missing the point here. I actually do believe in rehabilitation and second chances, but why should it be at Man United? He was a player at Man United, one of the biggest clubs in the world. Why should he get to play for Man United still? You know, maybe go and play somewhere else and start your career again. No one's saying he can't play football again. Why should it be at Man United? You know, this whole second chance thing is bollocks. It doesn't have to be at Man United. It could be somewhere else. But look, it's all about opinion. A lot of people do. Did you see Neville predicting Arsenal over City to win the league this year purely because of nothing more than no team has won it more than 3 years in a row and wishful thinking? Shows where some mainstream punditry is at, says Robbo96. I don't bother to listen to him anymore because of personal reasons that he's caused me, so I just don't bother to listen anymore. Pep pushed the camera, says Gareth. I just saw that. I don't know what that was all about. So Haaland's walking off the pitch, 2 ridiculously good finishers, and Pep Guardiola's telling him off and then pushes the camera away. Personally, I think that's got to be a 10-match ban. A 10-match ban. I'm going to tweet it as well. Think of the camera. I'm not sure there is any morals left in football, says Sean. We are only viewers of the game. It's a nice thought to think that the fan opinion matters. Clearly it doesn't and never will, says Sean. Well, we've already spoken about the manipulation of the top goal scorer thing. How incredible is it that Alan Shearer is widely and universally accepted to be the top goal scorer of all time, and he's not. Alan Shearer scored more goals from 1992 than anybody else. What's relevant about 1992? They changed the name of Division 1 to Premier League. Why is Alan Shearer the top goal scorer of all time? Because he scored more goals in a rebranded league. Jimmy Greaves is the top goal scorer of all time. It's simple as that. Sack Pep for touching the camera. Please do subscribe to the channel, by the way. We're on the road to 1 million and we're nearly at 992,000. Thanks everyone for tuning in. You're absolute legends, as always. In the context of the game, it's been pretty straightforward for Manchester City, if we're being honest. 2-0. But what I would say is, I want to have a look at the stats, actually. I think that Man City have done I think that Burnley have done reasonably well. And as I predicted before, I think they'll do quite... I mean, fucking hell, look at the possession. 26% possession for Burnley. Compared to Manchester City. But they've had 4 shots to 5, 1 shot on target to 3. I mean, that's what my point is, really. For all the possession, Man City haven't done a lot with it. It's just been 2 very clinical finishers from Erling Haaland. I mean, look, yeah, they've done more passes. The pass accuracy's been better. But I think Burnley have done reasonably well. I predicted in my Premier League predictions that Burnley would have a good season. And I do think they will. Just on a side note, we're only 100 subscribers away from 992. 992 on the road to 1 million. Oh, you know what? I've already said I never thought we'd hit 1 million subscribers. We might not. But if we hit 1 million subscribers, I'm going to do a live... And I've done a few United Stand live shows. But I'm going to do a live That's Football show in London. I don't know what it'll look like, but yeah, it'd be great. A big thank you, piss up. Make sure you subscribe. Bottom right hand corner. We're only 100 away from 992,000. But yeah, generally, what are your thoughts on that half? I think Burnley have done well. I think they will be. I mean, I'm just looking at the first goal here. Yeah, you've got to get tighter. I think defensively that's bad from Burnley. Haaland shouldn't have 5 metres of free space in the penalty box. He's got 5 metres there. Good finish, striker's finish. But you know what? The Burnley defender is on him quite quick, and it's just really good finishing by Erling Haaland there. The second goal is incredible. They're going to show that in a minute. But no, I think Burnley have done well, and I think they will do well. It's hard to. Where do you think Burnley will finish? Killian Mackey, thank you very much for your super chat. Where do you think Burnley will finish this season? It's really hard to predict because I think the Premier League is so competitive. I mean, oh, what a finish by Haaland. That second goal, it's just unbelievable. It's so clinical. I mean, they're showing like Kyle Walker's overlap, but it's got nothing to do with the build-up. It's the finish. The finish is ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. Most strikers in that position take a touch. Most strikers in that position hit the defender. Most strikers in that position hit it over the bar. It's just incredible. On the turn as well, the trajectory, the power, the accuracy. It's just magnificent. It's so good. And look, I don't like Man City. You know I don't, but it is very good. What was the deal with United and Kane? Did they go in for him and wasn't willing to pay the money, or Levy wasn't willing to sell? Man United wanted Harry Kane. Spurs said we won't sell. Most goals means nothing. If Henry... this is good. Blicky says, most goals means nothing. If Henry, Aguero or Suarez started in the Premier League and played until they retired, they would have it. Great move by Kane. I agree. And City are so boring it's efficient, but it's snooze fest. Ever thought about a live show watch-along? As how good would that be, says Treble Champ. Oh, okay. If we hit 1 million subscribers then, how's about I do a live watch-along venue and we sell tickets, something like that. That'd be good. We could do that. But yeah, it's Burnley will finish above Chelsea, says Burnt. It's really hard to predict where Burnley will finish. I have Spurs finishing outside the top 8, and Spurs fans are going mad about it. But I'm not being disrespectful to Spurs. You haven't got Harry Kane anymore. I don't know how he scored 28 goals for you last year. I mean, I think that deserves a medal in itself. 28 goals in a Spurs side that wasn't... I mean, I thought Ronaldo getting 18... in United's shit season was amazing. 28 goals in that Spurs side is incredible. But the reason I haven't got Spurs in the top 8 is because you've got City, Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea, Man United, Newcastle, Brighton, Aston Villa. That's 8 teams. Now, Spurs might get in the top 8, but me predicting they won't get in the top 8, isn't that ridiculous when you listen to that? Then you've got Spurs number 9. So what's a good season for Burnley? Because you've still got Brentford's, Fulham's, and who... I think Burnley could have a really good season and finish 12th. And I agree with Aravind. I think Burnley will be nowhere near relegation, but they might finish, 14th or something like that, and it will still be a really good season. I've seen enough of Burnley last season, and I've seen enough of them tonight to know that they will cause people problems. I mean, the way they played against Man City was very good in that first half, but they're playing the best team in the world. So I think Burnley will do well. Chelsea bid 150 million on Casido and 52 million on Lavia. I mean, NBA, it's not my problem. It's not my problem to know how Arsenal can spend 200 million. But Chelsea have got to be getting on for $1 billion in a year. In a calendar year, they've got to be getting on for $1 billion. Somebody needs to write an article on it and explain it to the rest of football, because we get constantly told about financial fair play. How can they be doing that? But they'll be doing it legally, of course. What I would say about Chelsea is it looks like they're finally spending the money in the right way. Poll: who will finish higher, Newcastle or Aston Villa? 70% of you have gone with Newcastle on that one. Fair play. I've got another one for you now. I went with Newcastle on that one, by the way. I've got another one. Who will finish higher? So we're going to go with... I'm trying to think of two that will be quite interesting. Who will finish higher? Aston Villa or Brighton? So it's Villa again, but we're going to throw Brighton in this time. Spurs and Brighton. You know what? I still think Brighton will finish. I nearly did Spurs, actually. I might do Spurs next. Mark, how annoying is it that there's a Saturday full of first Premier League fixtures and we have to wait till Monday for United to Ulster? I'm not that bothered, actually. You know, I think when the fixtures came out in June, I was. But I'm not actually that bothered because I enjoy football. I love football. So I can watch Man City tonight. I can watch Arsenal at lunchtime. I can watch the 3 o'clocks. I can watch... Villa, Newcastle, Liverpool on Chelsea on Sunday, and then it's all over on Sunday, and then you go, well, it's my club now. So I'm not actually that bothered as much as I thought I would be. So yeah, I mean, look, I'm not actually that bothered. I know some people are, but I'm not. There's some great games to watch ahead of that, as Kylo says. And it's the opening game. It's the opening game of the weekend, isn't it? Plus, the upside is you play Monday night, but then your next game Saturday evening against Spurs. So we'll be all right. Do you think Kane will win the Champions League with Bayern? Says Arturo. I genuinely think when I look at the Champions League last year, the team that gave Man City the biggest problems in a footballing sense was Bayern. I thought Bayern played better football than Man City at times. And the reason Man City beat them is because they had a better team. And what I mean by that is, Upamecano was shit, and they didn't have a striker, Bayern. So if they have solved the Upamecano problem with Kim Min-jae, and they've solved the striker problem with Harry Kane, then Bayern Munich should be better than they were last year. And I tipped them to win it last year. So I think Bayern Munich could be quite a good seed. I mean, look, I've got to be honest. I'm interested to see how Harry Kane does at Bayern Munich. I respect what Harry Kane has done. I've always liked English players going abroad. And it doesn't happen very often. Whether it's David Platt, Paul Ince, Gascoigne, Beckham, Michael Owen, Steve McManaman. You know, I'm always interested when they go abroad because we're so insular. We're so insular as a nation. Not many of our players go abroad, and the Premier League hasn't always been the best league in the world. Like, people will go, well, that's because our league's so strong. Most of my life, it wasn't. Serie A was a lot stronger. La Liga was a lot stronger, and you hardly got any English players going there. We're very insular as a nation, and when players come into this, you know what we're like. British Passport FC. Oh, protect them. So I'm actually quite looking forward to Harry Kane at Bayern and seeing how he gets on. Because I think there's more respect to it, really, in a way. And he didn't have any choice to go anywhere else. Hug from Portugal, says Bruno. Hope you're doing well, mates. And hi, Mark. Hope you're well. Can you wish my big brother Owen a happy birthday, says Damien. Happy birthday to Owen. Chelsea get 15 million from Livramento sell-on clause, and Man United are getting 15 million for Fred. That's how a club should be run. Absolute joke, says Sale. Yeah, well, Man United sales are crap. Bjorn says, the team down and it would be the same if you got a knee injury. Sometimes I think you're a god, but don't have control over your powers just yet. I don't know what you're talking about, Bjorn. Don't know the context there. We were only about 100 subscribers away from 992. Please do subscribe. Bottom right hand corner. I don't like VAR. We're only 7 subscribers away from 992,000, by the way. So please subscribe. Bottom right hand corner. We're very close to 992. Only 7 away. Click that button. Bottom right hand corner. Is there any decisions on Greenwood yet? Says Kel. No, it's not. It's not started yet. What was I going to say? My dad's birthday's tomorrow. What should I get him? Says Ronan. What does he like? What was I going to say? Yeah, I don't like VAR. I cannot stand added on time. I might be in the minority. I might be an old fart. I might be a hipster. But I cannot stand this time added on bullshit that people seem to enjoy. I can't get my head around it. It's like Scott McTominay and Man United refusing £30 million. On what planet is he worth more than 20? How do you reject 30? I don't understand it. Nobody's broken it down for me. And I don't like this added time. 5 minutes were added on at the end of this first half. I've got no idea why, and I've got no idea what they're doing. You don't need to do it. You just need to manage the 45 minutes better. If people take more than 10 seconds to take a free kick or a throw-in, book them. They'll soon stop. It's ridiculous. Rami says you've got an agenda against McTominay. No, mate. I've watched him for about 7 years. I don't think he's very good. It's not an agenda. It's based on consistency. Spirit says you can't question Pep. He's a genius. He's one of a kind. What do you think about the penalty that Burnley should have got? I don't think it was a penalty, in fairness. What do we think about the De Bruyne injury, says Sean Smith. I think Man City are such a well-oiled machine, pardon the pun, that it won't even matter. I mean, if you look at the players that aren't playing for Man City tonight, Grealish, John Stones, Vardiel. Tyler Adams' deal has fallen through, Isaac, yes. I feel sorry for him because he'd apparently done a medical for Chelsea as well. So no, it's a ruthless business, football. Just having a look at... understand Chelsea are now in contact with Brighton to discuss the new bid for Casino. Talks are on. Liverpool prepared to walk away from the deal. That was Fabrizio. Where's the Lavia to Chelsea story coming from? Don't know where that's all coming from. No, I don't know. Mark, my dad caught me using his Manscaped trimmer to sale. That's a bit weird. Chelsea owner bought Chelsea with the promise of spending $1 billion within the first year, says the wheelbarrow. And by God, he's done it. Mark, some guy tweeted so funny. He tweeted something like, Ollie would feel himself like Oppenheimer right now, looking at the impact of Haaland. Haaland is the real atom bomb, says Yogish. Yeah, if you've not watched Oppenheimer, I would suggest you go and watch it. There's not really any spoilers you can give because it's history, but for a long film, it was very, very good. Hi, Mark. Would you be willing to do any watch-alongs? Says Leroy. I'm literally doing one now. Aston Villa or Newcastle or Brighton, 55% have gone with Villa, 45% have gone with Brighton. If you've got any good ideas for polls, I'll put them up there. Kevin prefers Barbie. Liverpool have to get a CDM, not here. He says, do you think Liverpool will get a CDM? They have to. I've got Palace to go down. I don't know why I did that, you know. I've got to, well, I do know. I did my Premier League predictions after a pub visit, but I don't know. I think I was trying to be a bit clever. By my own admission, I was being a bit of a twat. I always try and do a hot take, and I was like, Palace have not been very active in the transfer window. Elise's going to leave. Zaha's already left. They didn't score that many goals last season. I could see them going down. But the problem is, Sheffield United and Luton are already relegated. Technically, I think they are. You know, I'd love them to stay up. It would be great for the league, but I think they're going down. Lovely play here. He's done really well. The Burnley player lays it off. Bad pass. They've been adventurous, Burnley, without being effective. Foster it was that time. If I was describing Burnley in a normal Friday night scenario, they're like the person who's gone out on a night out. They've got the chat, they've got the jokes, they've got the dance moves, and everybody's interested. But when they get into the bedroom, they've bottled it. Mark, do you have some advice for someone who's new at his job and finds everything confusing? Did people help you out when you were at your job and new? Says Grealish. Mate, I've had loads of jobs. I've worked in a cheese factory. I've done a paper round. I've worked for charities. I've worked in banking. I've worked in insurance. I've done loads of different jobs. And yes, you've got to learn from people. And yeah, you need people to help you, yeah. I've just had a chat here from Kai. He says, do you think Tottenham? That's it. Oh, here we go. I quite like this one. Who finishes higher? Chelsea or Liverpool? Let's do that. I quite like that one. I mean, I've got no idea. But it's a good one. Is there anybody who doesn't have Erling Haaland in their fancy Premier League team? I mean, it is almost like a waste of time, isn't it? I mean, I like fancy Premier League, but when you have a player like... It used to be a bit like it when Ronaldo was at United the first time round, and Lampard was a bit like it as well. Here he is. This could be the hat-trick. Good defending. He got the block on. I mean, yeah, it's like... Adichie says he hasn't got him. Well, you'd be foolish not to. Lovely run by Haaland here. Good defending. Got to have him, says Rob. Yeah, I wouldn't even try and be quirky or hipster. You've got to have him. Especially with Kane going, you've got to have him. I mean, you could almost get away with having Kane and not Haaland, but now Kane's gone, you've got to have Haaland. I think with top goal scorer this year. It'd be more interesting if you didn't if you just remove Haaland from it, because he will be the top scorer. Who do you think will be the top scorer if you take Haaland out of it? Salah probably. Maybe Rashford. Maybe. Talk Sport are saying that Liverpool have not walked away from the Caicedo deal. No new offer from Chelsea as of yet. Brighton are relaxed about the situation. This is now a game of transfer window high stakes poker. Chelsea pursuit of Lavia is understood to be independent of Caicedo. So where did Liverpool go if they don't get Caicedo? Rodri's going to hit that straight at the keeper over the bar. I tell you what, if that had gone in, it would have been cracking. City with a corner here, and headed again by Rodri, and it's a good save by Trafford. 65% of you got Liverpool finishing above Chelsea. I don't know how you can do that. Not that I don't think Liverpool will do it. I just think it's hard to predict. Did we expect something from Burnley tonight, says Angry Brit? No, I had it 3-1 Man City, which is, you know, considering their away opening game of the season. Evening Mark, love the lives and the videos. Meath for Sam 2024, says Giac. Thank you very much for your super chat. And Mark, my 13-year-old son has asked me to ask you, have you been asked to manage the YouTube All-Stars team against the Sidemen? Lee. What? No new poll idea, Barbie or Oppenheimer. This is Jake. I will do that. I've got to answer Lee. My honest answer to that is, at this moment in time, no. Is the honest answer. Nothing is confirmed, I don't think, in relation to that. What was that other one? There was another one there I was going to do. Barbie or Oppenheimer? Yeah, let's do it. I mean, fair play. Fair play if you've been to watch Barbie. Apparently it's very good. I will not watch it. Paqueta has agreed a deal with City. Apparently. I don't know why we're in the 62nd minute here. The time is bloody ridiculous. I tell you what I'm going to do. We're a bit all over the place with the timer tonight, but I'm going to go to this horrible timer that we've got, and I'll get it fixed for tomorrow, because we've had a bit of a problem with it tonight, but at least I can give you an accurate one. So what we go day 2, bang, there we go. That Sidemen charity game is going to be immense, actually, because I managed last year, as you know, at Charlton Athletic, 30,000. I mean, a lot of people say, oh, it must be amazing to play in front of 30,000. And obviously I didn't do that. But as a manager, you get more chance to sit and stand and take it all in. I had no concept of it at all. It's weird. It's really weird. And I think that's the one thing that I took away from it, is that I always, as a kid, wanted to be a footballer. And I've spent many a time thinking, what's it actually like if you're playing football? You play down the park, you play in front of 20, 30, 40 people. I was fortunate enough to play in a final where we had about 300 people watching. And there was times in that where I was really aware of people shouting. But, I mean, I stood on the touchline for most of that game with 30,000 people watching. And I had no concept of it. I was just totally enthralled in the game, and everything else was just external noise. I think that's probably what it must become like, because you get used to it. But 60,000 people they're going to do that in front of at West Ham. Amazing. All for charity. Casido, Enzo and Lavia looking scary. I might pee myself, says Sale. And what do you make of Banana's first few games? I don't make anything of anything until the season starts. I mean, some people have been critical of Havertz at Arsenal. Some people have been critical of Mount at Manchester United. But the bottom line is, until you get a game like this is what matters. Competitive. That's what matters. More Muscle says Oppenheimer was too long. Oh, mate, but there's so many cuts. It cuts so quick. Here's Haaland. This could be a goal. Alvarez has gone too wide and shoots wide. Do you like West Ham getting Alvarez and appear to be getting Ward-Prowse and Maguire, says Toro? I think they're good signings for West Ham. Yeah, I do. Make sure you subscribe, by the way. On the way to 1 million. I think we might have hit 992. We're on the road to 992. Bottom right hand corner to subscribe. A couple of changes here for Burnley. Half an hour to go. Vote Barbie. Who will get more goals and assists this season, Bruno or Odegaard? Well, we'll do that one next. 77% of you went for Oppenheimer over Barbie. I think that might say a lot about the gender of this live chat, but there's nothing not manly about watching Barbie. I just haven't watched it. Who gets more assists? This season, Bruno or Odegaard? You decide. I think there's a very easy analytical point to make about a game like this. So Burnley have made 2 subs, as you can see there. Those are new players on. If it's got a red arrow underneath, that means they've been subbed on. Yeah, there's a very, very quick and easy analysis to make here. Kovacic obviously came on for De Bruyne in the first half. And that is this. Burnley have not embarrassed themselves tonight. Far from it. Their work ethic has been really good. At times, they've been competitive. They've moved the ball well. They've Manchester City's penalty box has not been a stranger to them. They have been quite near it a few times. Their biggest problem is they don't have the quality in the final third. And Manchester City, obviously, is the best team in the world and the best team in the Premier League, have it in abundance, and ultimately that's the big difference in a game like this. It's that they have this skill gap, and money buys you quality, and that's what Man City have got, and that's what the bigger teams have, and that's what Burnley don't have. They have quality, but there is a ceiling to that, and the ceiling for teams like Man City is much higher. And that's the difference in a game like this. Man City have just got the better players. I think Burnley's tactical approach has been good. Their endeavour and work ethic has been good, but they don't have the quality to hurt the quality of defenders that that Manchester City have got. But the positive for Burnley is that they won't have to play teams of this quality every week. And it's probably, if I'm being honest, although Burnley will be disappointed losing their first game of the season, it's probably going to be the best thing that can happen to them, because they won't have to play a game as hard as this for a very long time. Even when they play Arsenal, United, Liverpool, Chelsea, they'll probably lose, but it won't be at the level that Manchester City are. They're just too good. But I agree with Splitter. I mean, we've seen from Burnley here that they probably stay up. Yeah, I think Burnley will stay up. I think Luton and Sheffield United go down. And I think the third team that goes down won't be Burnley. I think Wolves are a good bet. Football quiz. Name 3 Finnish footballers. I always go Jari Litmanen. I'm over. I'm done. Oh, wasn't there another one called Patalainen? He played for Aberdeen. So if Pookie's Finnish, I've done it. Yeah. Jari Litmanen. Am I right about that? There used to be someone called Patalainen. I think he might have played for Bolton, but definitely for Aberdeen. Yeah. Thanks. I was right. Good Jonsson's not Finnish. He's Icelandic. Sami Hyypiä. Oh, yeah, of course, yeah. Do you think United's top 4 spot this season is in danger with clubs like Liverpool making good signings, says Theo? Are you taking the piss out of Liverpool, Theo? What good signings are Liverpool and good signings do not go together today. They're in a bad place. Miksu Patalainen, that was his name, Hovis. Thank you very much. I thought Forsell was Icelandic as well. Maybe I'm wrong. Matoma deserves a better club, says Sahan. When you look at this game, Man City have played very, very well, but it's not been chance after chance after chance after chance. It's been 2 clinical finishes by Erling Haaland. Is that Craig Bellamy? Is that Craig Bellamy, a coach at Burnley? What's his relationship with Vincent? It is. Walsh says it is. Kovacic, man of the match contender, says Loon. Here's Rodri, good block. For years, if you've been watching That's Football, I've been a big fan of Kovacic. I think he's a really, really underrated player at Chelsea. Obviously not anymore. He doesn't play there, but yeah. Harvey's a pessimistic blade who's finishing 20th, Luton or Sheffield United, and will Derby's record be broken? What is Derby's record? Was it 8 points or 12? I don't think. Look, I do think Luton and Sheffield United will get relegated, but I'm not going to take the piss. I don't for 1 minute think that they're going to get 8 points. Forget that. That's not going to get. No, there ain't no way Luton and Sheffield United are going to get done like that. No. They're not that bad. And I don't want to take the piss out of Sheffield United and Brighton and Luton here. I would love them to stay up because it makes the league, like last year was so good because the 3 promoted teams did well, and you're like, shit, who's going to go down? So I'd love it if Sheffield United and Luton, if someone said to me now, Sheffield United, Luton and Burnley are all going to stay up. I mean, only an idiot's going to say that's not exciting because you're like, well, who's going to go down? That's fascinating. So, but no, I think Luton and Sheffield United will go down. But I don't for 1 minute think they're going to break Derby's 8-point record in a season. I mean, they should be looking at... I'd be surprised if neither of them got 20, actually. I think 20 points... They're still going to have days where at home, you know, Sheffield United beat Brighton or, you know, Luton get a result against Brentford. Those things will happen. Those things will happen. They won't be that bad. They'll definitely... I'd be stunned if they don't get double points. I mean, that Derby season was horrific. I mean, that's disgusting, isn't it? I mean, what a horrible season that must have been for Derby fans. But thanks, Harvey. What's your opinion on Crystal Palace being in the Premier League for 10 years, says Tots. Don't really have one, but I have predicted that they'll go down. Roy did a great job at the end of last season, but I worry about managers when there's no long-term plan. And if you're a Crystal Palace player, what are you building for? Like, Hodgson's gone. He's got to be gone at the end of the season. He's too old now. And players always want something to look forward to. And they've also lost a few players as well. I mean, look, it might be a stretch to say that Crystal Palace are going to go down. They might have a really good season, but that's just my prediction. And, you know, Jack says it's a horrific prediction. They've got, look, you know what? They've got some good players at Palace. But they don't score plenty of goals. And that I'm just going to stick with the prediction. It's not ageism, George. It's a fact. What was I going to say? But I do agree. Wolves could worry you for the same reason. Burnley trying to play out from the back and actually did quite well there. But then no, I've given it a kiss of death. Boring second half, says Fennick. I tell you what, I need to get a bit of a... It is quite a tight fit shirt, to be fair. It's just actually, it's just the way it was lying. Yeah, that's better. There's nothing there then. It was just out a bit. Look, that makes me look. That's what it was. Just made me look a bit fat. Nothing wrong with being fat. You can't be fattest. Man City are inherently boring. That's the bottom line. They might not like it, but they are. And here's the hat-trick for Haaland. No, it's not. The cross is just ahead of him. He'd have had a tap-in for number 3. It was a lovely run by by Foden. And he's just got to find Haaland. It wasn't that easy. Didn't find him. Ray says, how tall are you? 6 foot. That's going to cause problems. No one ever believes it. Derby's record was 11 points, says Everton Fan TV. Oh, here we go. We've got some... We've got a cramp now. So the referee will add about 20 minutes on. I tell you, this happens every time. Valmarat says 6 foot, laugh my arse off. Right, never met me. Never met me. I love this. It happens every time. Somebody asks me how tall I am. I tell them the truth because I've lived with myself for over 4 decades. And you get people who've never met you in the chat who look at me sat down and tell me how big I am. I never fail to be impressed by the stupidity on social media. 5'8" max. Yeah, it's great. Keep it coming. Love it. This is pet versus pet football and it's boring, says John Bright. City are very boring. Well, look, they might be boring, but I remember being a young teenager myself, probably younger than that, and George Graham's Arsenal was ridiculously boring. They still won things. You can still win things playing boring football. And Man City don't play boring football. They're just boringly too good. Do you think Maguire gets a farewell game tomorrow, says Kurtz? Man United aren't playing until Monday, mate. No, I don't think Maguire will play for Man United again. It would be stupid. And if you look at the history of Ten Hag, it would be stupid to put a player in the team that could get injured when you've he's working on personal terms and a fee has been agreed. You don't play a player in that situation. So I don't think we see Maguire play for Man United again. Be stunned, absolutely stunned. SB Neto says Foden's in my fantasy Premier League team and he's done absolutely nothing. The Inquisition, it's people who think 6 foot is gigantic. Look, can I just say this? Get out. Get out and experience life, because I ain't joking, and I'm sure many of you will agree with me here. In the UK, 6 foot, I'd say it's average. So many lads these days are 6'2", 6'3", 6'4". They're bloody massive. They're giants. I remember going to that charity football game a few years ago, and there was like Morgs, Willany. They're all bloody huge. Absolutely massive. We've hit 992,000 legends. I'm just so excited about hitting 1 million. Make sure you subscribe, bottom right hand corner. I mean, it's incredible, absolutely incredible. And there it is. It's 3-0, 3-0 to Man City. It's just too easy. It's just too easy. They're not vulnerable. They're not vulnerable. They're just too good. They're just too good. Too easy for City. And it's 3-0. But it's not like everyone hasn't predicted they're going to win the league easily. And they will. Bum, 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 ba-dum, bum, bum. I mean, I don't normally do Man City watch-alongs, as you know, but it's the opening game of the season, so there's all that buzz of that. But yeah, I just don't. On a serious note, I just don't. Somebody said to me, "Why have you predicted Man City will win the league? They won't be as strong this season because Mahrez and Gundogan have gone." And I'm like, they will be. Like, yeah. Mahrez and Gundogan have gone. Kovacic is, I think, massively underrated. They're obviously going to bring in Paqueta. They brought in Vardiel, who's one of the best up-and-coming centre-backs in the world. They're not going to go anywhere. And also, they know how to win. I mean, how many titles did United win under Sir Alex Ferguson on memory? Like, it's indoctrinated into them. I'm disappointed with Kane leaving the Premier League, says Thomas. To go to a one-man team league, he'll win a few titles without getting out of bed, but he'll become irrelevant being out of the spotlight, says Thomas. Well, he'll still be playing for England on the regular, won't he? And some might say that Kane was sort of irrelevant at Spurs. I mean, he was a bit, Spurs never won anything. Who do you think will be the first manager to get the sack? Good question, Sean. 59% of you have said that Bruno will get more assists than Odegaard. First manager to get the sack. I did this on the podcast. I did it on the podcast. You can listen to the podcast, by the way. We don't have to listen to it now. if you click the link in the live chat, you could just download it for later. But who did I say will get sacked first? I think I said Hodgson. Yeah, it probably won't be Hodgson. Let's read out some of yours. Yeah, a club can't get sacked. City says it'll be Chelsea. Here we go, Haaland again. Lays it in. Alvarez, this should be 4. Good block. Yeah, Burnley are getting a bit stretched here. Cooper is a good shout, Orin. That's what Will said on the super chat. I didn't say Cooper, Aaron. Will said Cooper. Moyes says Vincent. I don't agree with that. Mahrez debut hat-trick says Ration. I don't know whether that's true. Alvarez is overrated says Yeet. Vardial Laporte is coming on. Moyes. Gary O'Neill. Yeah, Gary O'Neill could be very vulnerable, to be fair. Bournemouth guy says Aaron. Bournemouth are a bit of an unknown quantity. I think a lot of people... Bournemouth have had investment. They've bought some good players, low-key, as well. Any concerns that Liverpool could swoop in for Amrabat, says Lee? Oh, of course. The way this transfer window's going, of course they could. Killian says, Mark, love the channel. Can I get your Instagram? I don't really know what my Instagram is, actually. At Goldbridge Mark, I think it is. Firmino debut hat-trick, says Ration. Yeah, but you're talking about the Saudi League. Haaland's come off, not going to get a hat-trick. Palmer's come on. I think Everton will stay up. I think with Sean Dyche in charge, you won't go down. Sort of guarantees it, really. I'm going to do another poll. Well, I've got a new poll. Have you listened to the new podcast? And if you haven't, why not? Give it a chance. There's 16,000 of you watching here. And there's a podcast brand new out this week that you could give a go to. The link is in the live chat to download it. Or you can just search Goldbridge Saves Football. I think you'll really enjoy it. Just give it a go. And see what you think. Because I don't think a lot of you will be aware of it. So give it a go. And appreciate your support as ever. The good thing about a podcast is that you can download it and then you can just listen to it and it doesn't take up or shut itself down. 10 minutes to go here. Are you going to post it to YouTube, Sam? We're going to post clips to YouTube. So we've got another one going up tomorrow morning. Did one another the other day. So the podcast will normally be about 55 minutes long. And we'll probably end up putting a couple of clips a week for about 7 minutes. So you're only ever going to get about 25% of it, really. I don't really want to upload all of it because it's not for YouTube. It's a podcast, and there's some bits in there that are, podcasts are very different to YouTube. Deezy says, is the Premier League dying? I think the Premier League's dying when you're selling this as your opening game. I think the problem the Premier League has is that you start the season with Arsenal at Burnley, or Man United at Burnley, or Liverpool at Burnley, or Chelsea at Burnley. You've got a product. You sell it Burnley against Man City, you haven't got a product. Man City just don't attract people, and also they're too good. So you're never going to get a shock. So for an opening game, they've got this completely wrong. This should have been a 3 o'clock on Saturday game. Like it's just Man City are the best team in the world. They've just won a treble. But when you're selling a product, this is one of the worst opening games you could pick, because Man City are too good, and they're going to beat Burnley. And as a spectacle, it's been pretty dull. But Sky and everyone else will think, let's put a newly promoted team up against the champions. That's probably something you did 20, 30 years ago, and it would work. But the gap's too big. Man City are too good to play teams like this and drop points. Papa says, don't forget about us third channel enjoyers. What are... Well, I forgot. I don't know who you are. What third channel? It's not just on Spotify and Apple iTunes. If you search on Google, it lists a load of other podcast places you can listen to it as well. There's no adverts on our podcast, Johnny. No, it's not. The reason for doing the podcast was not to put adverts or commercialise it. It's an independent podcast, and it's just 45 minutes of talking. And that's how I want to keep it as well. It's on Apple, yeah. Put the link in the live chat for you. Paul Graham, it's called Goldbridge Saves Football, and it's very interactive. We bring a lot of your comments in as well. If you check the community tab on YouTube, we do 2 or 3 questions over the weekend that we then use in the podcast as well. So we shout people out as well. Hot take, Haaland leaves City next summer, says Luke. He's gone. Look, I don't need to tweet stuff like this. Here's Foden. This should be 4. Probably overplayed this a little bit. Yeah, I think the opportunity's gone. Haaland's gone. Not next summer, the summer after. He'll do 3 years at Man City and he'll be gone. Yeah. There's no way Erling Haaland wants to stay at Manchester City for a long period of time. And there's no way that his contract says that either. That's not what he wants to do. He'll want to go and play. He's 23 years of age, 24 next summer, 25 the summer after that. At 25, Erling Haaland's off to Spain or whatever happens to football. Real Madrid, Barcelona, one of those. And the reason I know that is because that's the model that, and I know Riola's dead, but that's the model that Riola's agency always has had. What happened to the Twitch stream, says Max? The summer transfer window happened, mate. I can't commit to playing FIFA 3 or 4 times a week for 2 hours at a time when it's the summer transfer window. But the new FIFA's coming out soon, so hopefully get back playing. Yeah, he will be, Ken, he'll be like Zlatan. He'll follow a very similar model to Zlatan. Apparently his release clause becomes active in 2024, says AFC. Yeah, he'll be gone. Foden's had a good game. Here he is. They've got to score here. It's a 4v3. Into Alvarez. Shoots straight at the keeper. Something I was going to say then. I completely forgot. Love your new podcast and your channel too. Keep up the good work, says Becky. There's a fan been taken down at the side of the pitch there. Don't know what's going on. Someone kicked out for throwing something, says Michael. What are people up to these days? Trafford's good, says Wrestle Guy. Yeah, I think he could be... remember Dean Henderson when he went to Sheffield United and he had that really good season? I think Trafford could have a really good season. If you're a breakout goalkeeper, you want to go to a team like Burnley or Sheffield United because you're going to be busy. If you look at Edison's stats are shit compared to other goalkeepers because he's not as busy. As a goalkeeper, you want to be busy, and that Trafford will be busy, and I think he'll have a good season. Where do you think Forest will finish this season, says Delta? A few people have got them going down. I mean, they're going to lose tomorrow, and I think there's no shame in that. Forest stayed up from their home record. I think any advice to any team trying to stay up is your home record. But I haven't got them going down, no. Are you going to get players on the podcast, Mark? I love the first one, says Ben. So, yeah, the podcast is, obviously it's me and Will, and there'll be a lot of weeks when it's me and Will, but we have got guests lined up, yeah. So we didn't want to do a podcast where it was a guest every week because we want to be interactive on the podcast and bring a lot of your opinion into it, which obviously is the mainstay of a lot of the content I've always done. I'm very big and proud of the fact that we're very interactive and I want the podcast to reflect that. But I think we're aiming to get in a 4-week period, have a guest on once every 3 or 4 weeks, yeah. And we've got some good ones lined up, actually. Haaland has an interesting release clause implemented. 200 million starting next summer, then 175 in 2025. Hoping you're having a relaxing summer, says Yannick. Thank you very much. Yeah, I think Haaland will go in 2025. Khalid says, big up Mark and United. If Haaland left next year, assuming we scores 35 plus goals, how much do you think he's worth? Love the content. You're the GOAT. Well, if it'd be worth what his release clause is, isn't he? Because his actual worth, he'll be a lot higher. I mean, if look, let's put it this way. If Declan Rice and Caicedo are worth 100 million, then Erling Haaland's got to be worth 250 in the current market, as stupid as that sounds. 32%. So, have you listened to my new podcast? 32% of you yes, 68% of you no. Well, you know what your mission is. Give it a listen. In bed, on the way to work, in the car, in the kitchen. Goldbridge Saves Football. Give it a listen and see what you think. I think you'll enjoy it. Hi, Mark. Bruno and... What? Bruno... Hi, Mark. Russell Brand and Goldbridge was such a treat. Football is nice, says Thomas. I forgot I did that this week. Yeah, I enjoyed that. It was only a short cameo, but I was on Russell Brand's podcast this week. Yeah. What an intelligent guy he is. Did we hit 992? Yes, we did, because I changed it. Bottom right-hand corner to subscribe, on the road to 1 million. Don't forget, that I've just remembered the thing I forgot. Don't forget, tomorrow, we've got 2 watch-alongs. I'll be live just after 12 o'clock, Arsenal against Forest. I think that'll be a good game. 3 o'clocks, I'm live for those as well, both on this channel. And then tomorrow night on TalkSport, 7:30, the Mark Goldbridge show is back. We'll be taking your calls about the day and what's gone on. And who knows what the headlines will be tomorrow. I don't think there'll be many calls about this game. I'm just going to, 6 minutes added on, I'm just going to have a cup of tea and go and watch some Netflix. There certainly won't be a match reaction for this. There's not a lot to react to. David says, do you think Harry Kane will come back to Spurs in 2 or 3 years and try and break the goal scoring record? He'll only be 33 and can play until he's 38. David, I've got to say, I don't understand the obsession with the goal record. When you understand what the goal record is, you completely understand that we've all been played. This has been such a big topic over the summer. Should Harry Kane stay and break the goal record, or should he go and win trophies? The goal record is an irrelevance. It is manufactured. It's like Man City. It doesn't mean anything. The goal record isn't even real. It's fake. The Premier League goal record. What's the Premier League? It's just Division 1 renamed. Jimmy Greaves scored more goals than Alan Shearer in top flight football. And yet Alan Shearer is now the top goal scorer because he did it in the Premier League era. Man United fans sing 20 times. Liverpool won loads of league titles as well. So those league titles matter, but they don't matter in relation to top goal scorer. It's a nonsense. The whole top goal scorer thing is a joke, and it needs calling out as a joke. There is no logical reason to champion Shearer as the top goal scorer of all time just because the name changed from Division 1 to the Premier League. The top goal scorer of all time in top flight football is Jimmy Greaves. So Harry Kane's never going to break that record, so I wouldn't even worry about it. This match could have been 8-0, says Aaron. Great podcast. Now make an OnlyFans, says Jacob. What would I do on an OnlyFans? I don't even know. I'd never pay for OnlyFans. I don't understand what it is. Is that just people getting their tits out? In which case, I got told over the summer that there's an irrelevant person who talks shit on Twitter. Oh, they're going to look at this for a red card. That's not a red card for me. That's never a red card. I tell you what, if they give a red card for this, I can moan about VAR. Oh, he's going to look at it as well. That's never a red. Well, we've got a poll here. If he gives a red for that, he's never played the game. He's trying to win the ball. He's trying to win the ball. He's off the ground before Walker gets it. He can't do anything about it. Nah, that's never a red. It just looks bad. He's trying to win the ball. VAR back at it in the first game of the season. He's going to give him a red. He's giving him a red. VAR back at it again. I don't think that's a red card. I really don't. I think it's a genuine attempt to get the ball, and it's a slow-mo tackle. And I just think that I just don't think it's a red. Some people are saying it's a red card. Look, it looks bad on slow motion. It's a slow motion red card. I'm telling you now, watch the player try to make the tackle. Kyle Walker's not touched the ball. He's genuinely going for the ball. Kyle Walker gets there ahead of him, and he catches him. He's not gone there to stud down his calf. It's just a complete and utter accident in a genuine attempt to get the ball. It's a slow motion red card. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with those red cards. I didn't agree with them last season. I don't agree with them now. That's not what a red card should be, because there is zero intent. There is 100% intent to win the ball. It's just caught him late because Walker's got there first. Not a red. Not a red for me. But I think Pawson's a shit referee. I'll always say that. But look, it's split in the chat. I'm not, it's all about opinion. I've given you mine. A few people are saying it's reckless. But what tackle isn't reckless? Like, I love it when people say it's reckless, because what tackle isn't reckless? And look, I've played the game, but Graham Souness, Roy Keane, John Terry, Steven Gerrard, me, you, five-a-side, pub football, Premier League, Champions League final. Any tackle you go into, you don't know you're 100% going to win it. There's always an element of recklessness in a tackle. People throw the word reckless round like there's a button in your head that you know it's reckless or you know you're going to win it. You never know you're going to win a tackle. There's a percentage chance, but some of the best tackles in the world, you might only have a 10% chance of winning it. So we're now saying that people shouldn't try and tackle there. I don't really subscribe to the view of recklessness, because every tackle is reckless. And I think we're getting to a point where if that's a Man United player against Kyle Walker there, and they don't try and put a tackle in, and he runs through and scores, everyone will say, why didn't you try and tackle? So basically you're saying get a red card or don't try and tackle. That's a red card by slow motion as well. Wouldn't even be a foul in the 90s, says Rob. No, I think it's a foul. He catches him. There's no doubt about that. I think you could give it a yellow card, but I don't think it's a red, in my opinion. I think the game's gradually going. I think also what helps with a red card is if you get caught, scream like you've been shot. Orange card, says Curtis. Someone says it studs up. How can it be studs up when it's a sliding tackle? It's not a sliding tackle. It's a tackle. It's a launch tackle. It's not studs up. He's trying to get the ball. I mean, there's nothing wrong with Kyle Walker either. You just shout and scream like most Man City fat players do, and you get a red. That's the final whistle anyway. 53% of you said it's a red. 47% of you said it's not. We've had 5,000 votes, so it's clearly not. I'm not in the minority. There's clearly a split between that. Vincent Kompany and Pep have a little hug. Bit of a pre-season game for Man City, really. Easy work. Burnley, obviously, doesn't make a massive amount of difference to them. And Man City start with the 3 points we expected. I did say 3-0. I said 3-1. Unfortunately, Burnley couldn't get a goal. And statistically, let me just show you how that looked. Live side graphics. Take and pause. So the possession went up for Burnley in the second half. 17 shots to 6, 1 on target, whereas Man City had 8. There's no two ways about it. It was absolute domination from Manchester City. They're just too good. They're too good for these sort of games. Sky picked the wrong game. Don't start your season with Manchester City against a newly promoted team. You'll bore the shit out of everybody because Man City are way too good for a game like this. If you're going to start the Premier League, start it off with something a little bit more exciting in the future. Yeah, I agree with Ed. Probably the worst combination for a season opener. But that's the mainstream for you. They'll go, oh, the title holders against the league, the championship winners. But the gap's too big. Man City are too good for the Premier League. Don't put them up against the newly promoted team. That is not a good advert for the Premier League tonight. And it's the new season. People are picking their fancy Premier League team. They're really excited about the start of the season. You watch that and you go, a lot of people will be like me going, fuck, this could be a really boring season if Man City are going to run away with it. They never should have picked that for a first game. Never. But they're out of touch. Anyway, we'll be back with a better game tomorrow. I think Arsenal Forest will be a much better game tomorrow. We're back for that tomorrow lunchtime. We've got the 3 o'clock games for you as well. The games will get better over the weekend, but I think Man City are everybody's pick to win the Premier League. You can't say Man City are going to win the league easily and then moan when they win games easily. I think there's more of this to come. They will win comfortably. They don't always... Mason's just called me thick. He says they always pick the champions. It's funny that, Mason, because I'm pretty sure Arsenal played Brentford at the start of the season, either last year or the year before. And I don't think Brentford or Arsenal have won the league in a long, long time. Thanks everyone for watching. We'll be back tomorrow lunchtime. Take care. Smash a like on video. Subscribe. We're on the road to 1 million. And don't forget to download the podcast and give it a listen. The link's in the live chat, or just type in Goldbridge Saves Football. Let us know your thoughts. Thanks for watching. Take care. I'll speak to you tomorrow.